recipes for technical trading success in Cook's Kitchen.
Why is Square Jamie Dimon's favorite mistake? I'm going to explain it to you right now. I did this Bull of the Day article on Square last week, and I've been writing about this for a while. Jamie Dimon was at a conference in January or February of 2019, and this was written up in American Banker by Andy Peters. And here are the public comments that Jamie Dimon made in February of 2019. They came up with this little dongle to process stuff, and it was a great idea. The author of the article goes on to describe, the dongle is obviously the point of sale piece of hardware that made Square famous and made them attractive to small business people of all types. But then what has always been Square's plan for several years is to build out an ecosystem for the small business person, where not only can they accept credit cards, but now they have software to track their sales or their inventory or other data, plug and play into accounting software they may need. And that's what Square just keeps doing, is keeps building out the ecosystem. Also giving small business people loans too. And so Dimon said also, we didn't give them that opportunity. Square did. And Dimon lamented that Square beat JP Morgan to the punch in making online loans to small businesses. Eventually, JPM hooked up with On Deck Capital to do the same thing. But Square was doing it since 2014. So that's why I call Square Jamie Dimon's favorite mistake. And maybe he should have bought the company for $25 billion, and he could have even done that sometime last year. But the analysts hated Square for so long. If you find this article, just search Square on Zacks.com from October 8th. I talk about the one analyst who was extremely bullish, and I'll come back to him in a second. But I just want to show you during Corona crash, Square goes down to $40, and everything got trashed, right? But stocks are starting to come back. Nobody knew what that June quarter was really going to be like for Square. And most analysts were very pessimistic. In May, Square had just, was starting to recover, got back above $70, and UBS and Bank of America both downgraded Square to sell and underperform, respectively. Their price targets were probably 70 or less. And then Square in July delivers the June quarter, which blew the doors off, like a 350% earnings beat. Revenue growth is back to 50% on the year, which is what you love to see in software, fintech, and payments. And that's why the stock had just made new highs this week at 190. So let's look at the analyst who always got it right when so many were getting it wrong, and that's Dan Dolev. He was with Nomura for a couple of years, and he put himself on the map as the Square analyst to follow, because what he wanted to do was track the downloads of the Cash App versus Venmo, PayPal's Venmo. And he just collected that data every month, every quarter. And to him, it was showing the adoption rate, the trend of small and medium-sized businesses coming into the Square ecosystem and sticking with it. And so, at least 2 years ago, he had a $100 price target on Square. And then after this June quarter, I couldn't find him again. I didn't know where he was. I guess he was at Macquarie, but he ends up at Mizuho in August, and then has to start coverage of Square at Mizuho with a $225 price target. And, this is before, and now the rest of the analyst community is piled on. They all have price targets, let's say an average of 175. But, they're a day late and a dollar short. Dan Dolev was the guy who kept you in Square. And if you listen to Jamie Dimon, he got you in there too. So the Cash App is going strong. Now, what else do we need to talk about with Square? Well, the big news last week was Jack tweets, and their investor relations tweeted, "Hey, we just bought 50 million of Bitcoin on October 8th, and that's like 4,709 Bitcoin at the price they got that day." And so how significant is this? I mean, for Square, a 50 million purchase isn't really a big deal, but I think for adding more credibility to Bitcoin, because what is Square? Square is the digital finance for small and medium-sized business, and you've been able to transact Bitcoin on Square through the Cash App, but now they're adding further legitimacy to it. They want to offer small and medium-sized businesses the ability to transact in larger amounts of Bitcoin. So, and that's basically what they've done here. So once again, it's bringing that currency some more financial stature. I wanted to show you a couple other things here on the Square feed here. So Jack says, "Hey, more important than Square investing 50 million in Bitcoin is sharing how we did it, so others can do the same." This link from his tweet goes to this white paper. So he said on October 7th, we bought 4,709 Bitcoins for 50 million bucks. And so this is probably worth reading if you're a Bitcoin investor and are curious. So, and he wants you to know. He wants you to know how they did it, why they did it, that kind of thing. So how much is 50 million Bitcoin compared to who else holds it? This is a site called bitcointreasuries.org, and it shows you some of the largest holders of Bitcoin. Let's go the top half, the top 2/3 of this are companies and institutions that are not ETFs to hold Bitcoin. So if you go down to the bottom third, you can see that the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, GBTC, which is the basic ETF that holds Bitcoin, they own the most, 450,000 Bitcoins. Then you've got CoinShares, who's got 69,000, and some smaller funds. So that's where the bulk of Bitcoin is held. MicroStrategy up at the top here with 38,000 Bitcoins. I mean, this company, which was primarily a software company, I believe, for decades, has decided that their gateway to the future is to own Bitcoin and to be part of that movement. And it's 27% of their market cap. So this column, percent Bitcoin relative to market cap, 27% of their 1.5 billion market cap is Bitcoin. Their base price is they invested 425 million, and that's what it's worth now. So where's Square? Well, Square is right here. So Square, they're not the smallest player here, but relatively speaking. So I just wanted you to see where they fit in that jungle. All right. So, Square Jack did a little fun thing. The meme that's going around, how it started, how it's going. Here they are with their update. What else do I want to show you here? We want to talk about AMD for Xilinx. Will AMD buy Xilinx? Who knows? Some people don't think it's a great idea. One thing for sure that you should know is that this is the semiconductor index, the Philadelphia Semiconductor Index, SOX, SOX. Remember when Apple and Amazon were surging earlier this week? Like, I don't know, it was Apple up over 5% and Amazon was up 4%. Obviously, for Apple ahead of the iPhone 12, Amazon is going to have some good news too soon. Amazon and Apple did not make new highs versus this early September blow off top, which was basically a SoftBank buying calls, and so it was a gamma squeeze upwards as anybody short calls had to keep buying stock. Stock market didn't make new highs. NASDAQ didn't make new highs. Apple and Amazon didn't, but the SOX index broke out and made new highs. That's noteworthy. So where does let's look at Xilinx, XL and X. So here's Xilinx popping up on the news last week, Friday, that AMD might be in talks to buy them for about $30 billion. Now, I think that takeout price would be around $120. Most analysts have sort of gone neutral on it here, but let's look at who isn't crazy about the idea. So here was my commentary from October 12th. Zacks rocks new highs. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Wedbush doesn't see the logic behind rumored AMD Xilinx deal. Citi sees a good chance of Xilinx turning them down. Xilinx has turned down other suitors before. And Baird downgrades Xilinx on a possible acquisition. It doesn't seem like anybody's really excited about the deal, and probably least of all Xilinx. So I just wanted to show, we've been talking about NVIDIA, seeing if they can pick up ARM holdings from SoftBank for $40 billion, would be the largest chip deal ever. And, no surprise, AMD trying to expand their portfolio and get more access into, the 5G realm. I think that's, basically the main idea of what AMD is trying to do and have, that exposure. So it's like AMD and NVIDIA both realize if they're going to, I shouldn't say if they're going to take on Intel, but as they take on Intel, they want to expand and have a full suite of solutions and technology platforms that can integrate. All right, that's it for this week. Thanks for joining me in the kitchen.